Hello Kindred, Longevity Lifestyle Designs. This is Zach with secretsoflongevity.com. In this video I wanted to talk about the Lotus posture, and more specifically all meditation postures. So I'm a big proponent and fan of meditation, and it's something I've been practicing for a long time. I don't speak about it as much on my channel, but I do reference it here and there. I think it's a very individual choice as to what meditation path people follow, because there's such a diverse array of practices from different traditions. So at times I'll speak about the practices that I engage in, but that's a very individual matter. Now, the postures for meditation can obviously be used for any of the practices, and specifically one of the most famous ones is the Lotus posture, which I'm in now. It's not the most comfortable thing for me, so I'm going to have to get out of it because I still haven't worked up the proper hip flexibility to be able to stay in it for a decent amount of time. However, what can occur if you're trying to get into this posture specifically without the proper flexibility is you're going to end up putting pressure on the outside of your knees. So specifically, there's ligaments on the outside of the knee here that in that position, if there's sort of strain on the knee bending this way, which it's not designed to do, it's a hinge joint, it's not a ball and socket joint like your shoulder or hip. So it's only designed to move this way, and any movement sideways, as in this part of the leg moving this way without the thigh correspondingly rotating with it, you're going to get strain on that ligament, and when you stretch ligaments they don't come back, so you're permanently damaging your ligaments. That's obviously something you do not want to be doing, because that can lead to injuries, very serious problems with your knees later on in life. So if it is something you're interested in doing, because it's a fantastic posture to be able to sit in, but it's not necessary by any means, this book was created by my friend Martin FAULKS called Becoming the Lotus, and I've been working through it, looking at, there's a wide variety of exercises. I'm going to demonstrate one of them here, but definitely check out the book if it's something you're interested in, because it is, if you're wanting to make meditation a very significant part of your day, and I meditate around an hour a day on the good days when I'm doing it twice a day at the allotted time that I choose to do it for. Now, being in a posture like that you can sit in comfortably for that period of time is fantastic, because you get really familiar with it, and it really helps keep the spine erect and straight. Some of the other postures, you can simply sit cross-legged with your feet under. You probably would want to have, again, a pillow under your lower part of your body, under your bum, to raise your hips off the ground so that you can have the proper alignment with your spine. And pretty much all the other postures you need a pillow on your bum, but with the Lotus posture, because your feet have been brought up, you can actually sit quite comfortably anywhere, and you have the convenience of not requiring the pillow to sort of have that wonderful slight curve in the lower back and upright posture with the head sort of feeling like it's rising, and you don't get sort of slouched in meditation. So the idea with the other postures is they can start to get you acclimatized to getting into the Lotus. The full Lotus, it's called, when you have both feet resting on the inner thighs. So there's this pose, which is very common. Some people choose to sit almost with the heel pressing lightly on the perineum for men and women. But again, if you have a pillow under your sit bones at the back, that makes this realistic to actually stay in. The other thing you can do, especially if you're older and don't have the ability to sit for long periods of time, is to sit on a low stool. So basically you want to sit in a way that your thigh is parallel to the floor and drop straight down. And that way when you're sitting, you'll have a straight back on that sort of low stool. So basically find the posture that works for you, but if you're interested in the Lotus, you start progressing towards that. And the next progression would be half Lotus, which is like that, or obviously the other way, with the other leg half into the Lotus posture and the other one below. You can almost like tuck the other foot into the crook of the leg under here. Now, that's all explained in this book again, but the stretches are the most important, because to be able to get into the posture without damaging the knee, you need to have very good rotation in the hip and through the glutes, and also the muscles all around the hip that basically allow your leg to move in all these different directions. They're very tight in a lot of people, and if you can't squat easily onto the ground, you're going to have trouble with this. If you can't sort of bend down and touch your own toes, you're going to have trouble with this posture. So basically any yoga posture is going to help, but there's a series of them in here, and there's a specific practice set up that you can follow that will get you to that point. So I'll demonstrate one exercise, but before I do that, I'll also say there's a long section at the front about the history and symbolism of the lotus, which is very fascinating as well. And it's been around since ancient Egypt. Obviously India is the big place where it's widely recognized as being a part of the practices from there, from the yogic traditions of Hinduism, and of course the lotus flower, and also in Chinese traditions, and Qigong, martial arts, etc. So probably I feel is the best exercise for this, if you're wanting to get to the point of being able to do the lotus posture, you do these before your meditation practice every day to limber up your legs, is the pigeon pose. So you sit, or not sit rather, but so you get into a position with one leg extended back. If you can see that, going straight back, and the other leg, thigh pointing forward, your knee pointing forward. And basically you're going to get into this posture where as you bring this hip to be parallel to the ground, you're going to start feeling a lot of stretch in around here. And that's exactly the stretch you need to be able to get into lotus. You need that sort of muscle to elongate over time. And you're basically just going to get into that position and hold it. I'm no expert on hatha yoga and a set number of breaths and how long you hold stretches for. So you could consult or it would be ideal to consult a yoga teacher if you're interested in that aspect of it. But basic stretching, you want to hold muscle elongates for about 2 seconds, and after 2 seconds it starts contracting. So that's my theory of stretching, is you don't hold it for that long. Some yoga postures you're said to hold longer, but then you're working more on the fascia, which is on the outside of the muscle. So muscle tissue, muscle fibers, they stretch, and after about 2 seconds of being at their maximum, they start to contract a little bit. And that's when you can get muscle tearing from holding stretches for too long, is because the muscle doesn't keep stretching, it actually starts retracting, and if you try to force a stretch, it's obviously not good for it. So I hold it for about, you kind of feel it reaches to a point where it gets to that slightly uncomfortable point, and you just back off, and you switch, about 2 seconds, or 2.5 seconds, and then you switch. Another thing to note is that the further out you bring your leg this way, the more intense the stretch will be. And over time you want to be able to get to the point where you can basically almost do that. I obviously can't do that at this point. But if you can do that up to there, you can probably get into lotus without problem. Plus the other stretches are fantastic to limber up that whole sort of hip cradle of musculature that's in that area. So you've got the leg a little further out, and you can almost come up like this to hold yourself if you can't go all the way down. And just sink into it, and remember to take deep breaths and relax. And you're correspondingly also stretching in here on this side, which has its own benefits, but it's not really related to the lotus posture per se. I'll do once more on the other side. Have it. So that's one stretch you can work with if you're wanting to get to the point of getting into the lotus. It's also good to do those even for the regular postures, such as this sitting posture, which over time can also be a strain on the knees if you don't have the proper flexibility in the hips and in the glutes. So if you're really having trouble sitting down and sitting in a position like this, even with or without support under the sit bones, definitely look at some of the stretches in this book as well, because being able to be comfortable in a sitting posture for a long period of time, half hour, an hour, 2 hours, depending on how long your meditation practice is, that's a real key to being able to comfortably go internally and get the benefits of the meditation without getting caught up in having to maintain and be consciously aware of your body and adjusting to constantly try and feel comfortable. Of course, here's the close-up of the book. And there's some images of lotuses in there. That's about the symbolism and history. Some statues and other things like that. Some of the Egyptian origins. Of course, lots of exercises that you could look into doing. So check out Martin Fox's book, Becoming the Lotus. It's at martin-kilgour.com. He's got a number of other publications that he's put out. Very short and easy to read books, 60 pages. And yeah, with that being said, take care and embrace life without limits.